At the bottom right of the map, we have our Zerg player from Sweden. He's starting in the red colors. He is team member of Team Mousesports, and it is none other than Mousesports Morrow.
That's right. There he is. An awesome Zerg and an awesome guy. Gotten a chance to hang out with him a few times. And here up at the top left of the map is our Protoss player. Recently left his team. It is Killer.
Your Street Fighter voice is just way better than mine. I need to practice that.
Maybe I was a Street Fighter voice in another life.
Killer's eyes, sheer determination. He knows he's with a back towards the wall right now.
Borrow the Morrow, please. Here, those will hatch tomorrow. Hi, Emery. You might be watching this on TV, but when I'm watching it in person, you jelly? I hate the word jelly, by the way. I find it silly.
Morrow was responsible for one of the funniest moments I had in StarCraft 2.
Yeah?
Well, he has a game on Tal'Dorei Malta. He was starting at the bottom right and had an expansion at the top right. So in order to defend it, he built a Nidus network, and I very rarely see a Nidus network being placed for defensive purposes. But a Terran player just dropped and attacked him with 8 Marines, and Morrow just sent one single Baneling into the Nidus network. The Baneling popped out and killed all the Marines.
Nice.
I just couldn't stop laughing for about 5 minutes. It was the best sight ever.
That's hilarious. Doesn't overreact, just sends a single Baneling into the Nidus. It's like, this will take care of it. That's awesome. Looks like Killer's gonna go ahead and do a Forge Fast expansion. He's actually placed a pylon down to block the hatchery of Morrow as well, and he's placed his Nexus down even though he forced Morrow to pull first.
Killer with a...
Oh, he's already got his Forge, so he's fine actually.
A little bit of a risky wall-up right there. Usually, well, most Protoss player would go for the pylon at the bottom of the ramp in order to wall off, with the Nexus being part of the wall-up. If you go to the front and your opponent is trying to attempt some early pull strategy, then chances are you're going to lose that game, or you will be far behind even if you're able to hold that one off.
Well, it's funny, I just got reminded, you were just talking about Nidus. I'm reminded of the game with MC versus... I don't remember who that game was against. Oh, I don't remember who it was against, but he played a game, and it was an elimination from Up and Downs, actually, I think, too, where he went for this, and he went for a Forge Fast expand, but he did this forward expansion where he built all his buildings in the choke on Terminus, and the Zerg player, I don't remember who it was, someone tweet me and remind me.
Monster?
Maybe it was Monster.
Monster sent him...
Maybe it was Monster, actually.
Monster
right.
won against MC in the Up Downs.
He sent a Nidus into the back of MC's base, and because his cannons were all at the front at the choke, there were none near his Nexus, and 20 or 30 Zerglings came through the Nidus and just killed everything. Oh, wow, that Zergling actually got pretty far in. Eventually died. The probe lived.
Third base for Morrow, by the way. He's going straight for the third after he scouted his opponent's opening. And once again, the most interesting thing for us will be what Killer is doing in regards to his follow-up. So far, he didn't start tech at the Forge. Will he start with a Stargate, or is he going for the Gateway push? On Tal'Dorei Malta, usually we see the +1 attack and some kind of Stargate strategies, especially Link Stalkers is quite popular.
Yeah, very nice on this map. And Morrow is actually going to have to worry about these 2 Zealots. He's actually sent these 2 Zealots out, and I'm not sure where they're going.
Morrow doesn't have speed just yet.
I guess they're going around the side. They're going to try and do some harassment on the third. This is something that we see sometimes. Protoss is, they know that they're being greedy, and the Zergs often are trying to be greedy in response, and so sometimes just 2 Zealots can actually do a lot of damage, a lot of harassment, if they catch him with no Zerglings on the map. And so he's trying to do that, but Morrow has a few Zerglings combating that Zealots in the middle of... There we are. And he did make a few extra Zerglings, so he's going to be able to deal with the Zealots. No drone losses. Look at that. Even microing a Zergling back so it didn't die.
Killer is going for the gateways, but he doesn't go for the +1 attack.
And look at that. Morrow, upon killing those 2 Zealots, he says, alright, there's not going to be any pressure from Killer for at least a couple minutes. Boom, 12 drones. Makes a bunch of drones. He's getting his economy rip-roaring now.
And in the meantime, Killer actually started to research the +1 attack upgrade. It's a little bit delayed, but still, he already has 4 gateways and 44 drones against 44 probes. Nice.
Wow.
Killer evening out the supply. Still, the income is in favor of Morrow simply for the reason that he's saturating 3 bases instead of 2.
Yeah. Very good point. The Roach Warren is going down, and Morrow is just taking all of the extractors at his main and his natural. He's going to start getting a lot of gas in. So basically, we see this a lot where you make the lair and then you get the gases so that you can start getting the gas when the lair is about to complete, so you can actually support the lair tech. So very smart. And now taking even the gases at his third base. He's going to have so much gas.
We had seen the Twilight Council for Killer, so he's probably going for the Blink Stalk strategy that we talked about earlier. You usually play that with a +2 attack upgrade as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if Killer just started with a +2 as soon as +1 is done. Well, Morrow is now getting, Motor mentioned it, the gas just while his Latic is going, and a macro hatch. That's a Blink.
Yep, more gateways powering up into warp gates. Actually, how many warp gates does he have now? Is he just going for 7 warp gate blink stalkers, basically?
He's on 6 right now.
6.
No, 7 with the one in the front. And they're going there for infestation pit. Overseer morph, by the way. And the Overseer is going to scout the main base right now, having a quick look at what exactly is happening, and he will be able to get information about those gateways. And with the infestation pit, he's already countering out the blink of his opponent.
Oh, look at that. The Changeling is going to go spot the other gateways as well. He knows exactly what's going on now. Sees the Twilight Council and everything. He knows exactly what's happening, and he's starting to produce roaches. But Killer is already on the move, moving out into the middle of the map for a massive attack.
The thing is that Morrow did not get too many drones. He's on 55 and already getting the first infester even before Pathogen Glance is done. Roach Street will be ready as well as the +1 armor upgrade. Killer has to be careful. He has to be really, really careful with this. He's following it up with the robotic spray, but Morrow should be in a position where he can counter his opponent's attack.
Yeah, definitely. Especially since Killer's kind of waiting a little bit. He's waiting for that blink to finish, and there we go. Oh, never mind. Sorry, I misread the counter, but he is making a lot of roaches here, and Pathogen Glance is about 2/3 complete, so now he can start making those infestors, and they can come out with fungal growth, and he has the gas for a few. We'll see if he makes that, but either way, he's going to have a ton of roaches to deal with this attack. It's just going to be a macro war, basically.
26.
But no, I'm sorry. I was completely misreading this. Killer, the minimap's cut off on my monitor, actually, and I didn't see that he'd put down a third base, so I thought he was going to go all in with a massive attack, but he's actually going ahead and expanding off of this.
And Morrow is prepared. He is sitting there with all the roaches. He has one of his infestors already in the back, and he knows fully well that he can now drone up again, and this is exactly what he's doing. 70 drones for Morrow, 58 probes for Killer.
Very smart play by both players here, reacting to what the other has prepared for them.
On a tier shipyard, it comes down to the 4th base quite often. So Morrow will try to get one base in the middle of the map, as it looks like. Is he going to do that? Nope. He's actually moving to the bottom. So the 4th base is what Antigua Shipyard is usually all about. It's quite easy to get 3 bases, and getting the 4th is one of the crucial things that you have to accomplish. Morrow is now on the move. He's trying to get the middle of the map. The drone is already in position, and there is the 4th base, and he's getting a 5th at the same time.
Wow.
+3 attack.
And the reason why I think he's getting those 2 bases is he knows that one could easily be attacked and he could lose it, but if you get 2 at opposite ends, he can only kill one of them, basically. So it's kind of like, alright, well, I'm going to get 2 bases so I can have one, sort of thing. But now he's putting the pressure on here. He's going to break down these rocks. Killer, he says, alright, well, you killed the rocks. Now you're going to kill my buildings. Is he going to put down some infestors? Oh, he force fields the infestors. He's going to get the infestors. 2 infestors pop. They explode without casting anything because they were trapped behind those force fields and could not escape. Very nice move by Killer.
The timing will be essential for Killer. He's getting Colossus, he's getting a stainless thermal lance, he's getting the second robotics facility in order to get double Colossi, and he already is in the process of researching +3 attack. That is crucial if you play with Colossi because the damage output will just increase by so much. But Morrow, with the Spire being ready, is getting the first 10 Corruptors, +2 armors on his way as well. And Killer needs to get that timing where he just has the army to overpower his opponent, because Morrow, with those 2 bases that he built, will be able to get just such a great economy working for him, and Killer waits too long. Morrow will have too many resources and will be able to rebuild his army in a short amount of time. That's something that Killer definitely doesn't want to have.
Oh, a nice spread by Morrow. He gets a nice fungal on those first Stalkers. The Corruptors coming in, getting some nice free hits, and takes out a single Colossus very easily. Excuse me, very easily.
That was really bad for Killer right now. He lost all those Stalkers, and at the same time he already lost one of his Colossi without dealing any damage at all. Finally moving in on to the the fourth. He doesn't know about the other base though. So this one is going to be attacked, and Morrow immediately going to the rescue, trying to take down the Zealots.
Nicely saved. I thought that base was toast. It's funny, he actually sent all those drones to the hatchery. I wonder if that was a Terran instinct to repair the planetary or something like that, instead of running the drones away. But he did manage to save most of those drones. And here's another battle in the middle. Morrow coming in, nice fungal on the Stalkers in the middle. The Corruptors doing so much damage, taking out the Colossus very quickly. But with all of that firepower, he does take out a lot of roaches. Morrow gets remaxed a little bit faster, though loses most of his Corruptors.
Oh, at the bottom, the army needs to be careful right now. Morrow is retreating. He's on 166 supply. And I like that Killer is switching now. Killer is switching to Immortals because he realized that those Colossi that he built didn't accomplish all too much in that game. So going for the Mortals is actually a really smart thing to do, except for the fact that Morrow is not only rebuilding the Corruptors, getting the Greater Spire, but also researching +1/+2 attack for the melee units, and has a bunch of Zerglings in the mix as well.
Yep. Also putting down some Spine Crawlers around the map to free up a little bit of supply so he can use that Greater Spire. And I like this. It's really nice. You know, if the opponent has Colossus, you have to make Corruptors to deal with the Colossus. And sometimes that's bad because then you end up with extra Corruptors at the end. But hey, you got a Greater Spire, you just morph those puppies. But hold that thought, nice fungals going down on a lot of the army. The Zerglings melt very quickly though. He's gonna have to fall back. He doesn't have the support army to actually kill that off. And he blinks forward and is gonna take out all of the infestors. Morrow is in serious trouble here.
That was a horrible position for Morrow to engage. Those Colossi in the back could kill every single Zergling. I don't know why he attacked in that particular position. He was trying to delay his opponent a bit, but this is horrible. Killer might just take the game right now. The Greater Spire is not done just yet. We have more infestors being built, but that won't help him at all. Morrow is down to 123 supply against 200. Killer is just rolling over Morrow. There's nothing that the Greater Spire dies. No, not a single Brood Lord that game. Wow. Morrow is losing his second base, losing his tech. No more infestors.
Yeah, I mean, Morrow could have survived if Killer had taken out his 5th base in the bottom left. He would have still been mining at the top right, but instead Killer went right for the jugular, and Morrow's just bleeding out right now because Killer has double his supply, and Morrow has lost all of his important tech, having to rebuild his lair at another location because his hive just died. This is really pretty much over for Morrow. He doesn't want to go out without at least spending the money he has in the bank right now, and I can't fault him for that, but there's almost no way he can come back in this game.
50 Blink Stalkers for Killer. Morrow's down to 56 supply, and Killer is clinging on to that last straw in this group. He's getting 1 win. He has 2 losses already, and Morrow is suffering.
There we go.
Loss.
GG coming from Morrow. And that is, you know, if you're a Killer fan, you gotta be happy about that. He's not been eliminated from this group entirely just yet. But personally, I was rooting for Morrow, the Swede, coming here to Korea. And doesn't seem too upset about that. I mean, you know, he's here, he's trying his hand in a little bit bigger league than he's used to, so he can't fault himself too much for that. But he started off really strong with that win against Ryung. I was hoping he would be able to have a strong finish as well. Of course, he's not out of it yet. He's still at 1-2, so he is not in a good position, but he's not completely disqualified, that is for sure.
We have another game coming up with Bomber against Gumiho, and that's going to be an interesting one because both of them are already ahead 2-0 in the group, and therefore one will get the third win while the other one will get the first loss.
Pretty much. Yeah. And if they do get that third win, it's going to mean that they will have pretty much clinched the group. Because everyone else in the group besides these two guys has 2 losses. So the maximum wins that anyone else in the group can get is 3. So the person coming out of this with 3 wins will then basically have the maximum wins possible in the group. So they'll be tied for first at the very least, regardless of what happens with the rest of the game. So very important game for either Bomber or Gumiho. And Bomber is really showing some good play today. Of course, you know, he just had to respond okay to Ryung's sort of crazy all-in for that win, but he looked good in his first game as well. I've got to hand it to Bomber in this one. He's looking good today. And looks like, yeah, Bomber versus Killer. I'm sorry, Bomber versus Gumiho is going to be next. After that, we're going to have Ryung back up again versus Killer.
That could be a really, really intense group, by the way, because you are perfectly right.
Everything is getting so tied up right now.
We have 4 players being tied up when it comes down to the score. We have those 2 guys, and both of them, well, Morrow, for example, still has to face Bomber and Gumiho, so
oh dear.
If he's able to take those wins, if he's able to, let's put it this way, if he's able to win against the loser of the next match, he definitely has a good shot of at least either pulling ahead or tying the series, and as soon as the scores are tied and he won the direct comparison.
Yeah, and let's not forget that Morrow lost his 2 games versus the Protoss players. He's done with that now. All he has left is Terrans to play, and that is his best matchup. That he was very dominant actually in his first game against the Terran player. So
same goes for all the other players, by the way. If they are able to take down the loser of the next match, if they didn't play him already, then they have a really decent chance of getting ahead in the group, or at least tying with one of them, so that there will be a deciding match.
Yep. So we're gonna get into the game here pretty soon. There is the Code S medallion. That is what these players are questing for today. Bomber on the left, sporting his snazzy Startail jacket. The FX Open t-shirt belonging to Gumiho on the right. He had a really good run in the WCG Korea qualifier, if I remember correctly, didn't he? Or was that Happy? I get them confused sometimes. I'll have to double check on that. But anyway, Gumiho, he's been playing really solidly lately. He's kind of a little bit hit and miss. He's a little bit inconsistent. So it's going to come down to what game he brings today. But can he bring it against the former superstar Bomber? We're going to find out right now.